Yes, fans of fantastic films, if you come back and hang with us next weekend, you will find us watching The Suckling and also The Oracle, two 80s puppet monster freakouts right here on the Drive-In Asylum double feature. And our guest next weekend is going to be John McDevitt from Facets in Chicago. He's going to be right here on the couch next to me. Well, it's going to be like a whole new camera setup. You're going to love it. And he's going to come in and talk to us about these two fantastic films. But this week, we've got Uncle Spooky in the third. Yes. I'm so glad you came back.
Me too.
So, did you guys hear the track that I had at the beginning, like with the people dancing? You know, I love my dancing compilations, but
yeah,
this one had a soundtrack by Fabulon, and the track is called Pussy. And you know, we're all adults here, right?
It's a new song?
Yeah, I was so excited. Fabulon, for those of you who might remember Fabulon, he was an up-and-coming artist in 1993. I saw a video he did for his lead single called In a Mood, the lead single off his debut album, All Girls Are Pretty, Volume 1. He was signed to Chrysalis Records, and then there was upheaval in the management at Chrysalis. And Fabulon was one of the artists that got buried by by the label, so they didn't promote the album. Fabulon never really became the phenomenon that I believe he should have been, because this is one of my favorite albums of all time. All Girls Are Pretty, Volume 1. It's just incredible from start to finish, every single song. And for years and years, nothing happened, and there was no more material from Fabulon. And just a couple of days ago, or like weeks ago, I guess, I was poking around on YouTube. Fabulon is back. He had a second album called Volume 2, the sequel to his long lost 1993 classic All Girls Are Pretty Volume 1. And it's a double album. It's like 1999 by Prince. There's 20 songs, and every one of them is just so good. I'm really into it. Fabulon, go check it out. And he sounds a little like Prince crossed with Todd Rundgren. Somebody described him as that, but he's so much more. It's just like, I don't know, like all this stuff comes together and it sounds so good. I highly recommend it. So that's my.
I love the video.
Did you like it?
Yeah, I love it.
It was great.
So yeah, Witchfinder General. What a bummer.
Man,
I thought for sure she died at the end, so that was kind of. Thought she was gonna get it for sure.
yeah, it's we said when we were watching, it has the most beautiful music of any torture movie outside of Cannibal Holocaust. It's got a beautiful soundtrack and some gorgeous like scenery. The production values are amazing. If you like horses through the countryside, come to Witchfinder General. And I think it's really great. It's obviously a differently paced movie from the time that it came out, but the end of it's super dark. It's dark throughout. There's not a lot of happy moments in this movie. I can't imagine audiences being. What'd you say, baby?
They got married. How's about it?
Yeah, they got married and they made love. That's about the only two happy parts in that, you know. Yeah, and a dude, as Dan said, a dude gets kicked so hard his eye pops out of his head near the end. There's axe attacks.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff going on. It's pretty wonderful.
I gotta say the fire in the face though, that was kind of rough.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Chilling, absolutely chilling.
Yeah.
Everybody standing around doing nothing. Terrible.
Yeah.
That was actually pretty realistic, I thought. And the other movie that it made me think of it was Don't Go in the House. That scene where the notorious scene where the woman gets burned by a or a flamethrower in the metal room, and we see it in pretty graphic detail. I felt that same feeling from this movie, even though they didn't show as much.
I was afraid of it, and I didn't bring my kids, and I stayed home with my kids, so I didn't see it.
You're so squeamish.
I'm squeamish, and I stayed home with Cubby. Cubby loved it. He was like, "This is good."
By the way, we have to wish a very happy birthday to Tracy Palma.
Oh, happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Tracy.
It is now officially her birthday. It's on the East Coast here anyway, or the Eastern time zone, I should say, not the East Coast. It is 1:31 a.m. It is now Tracy Palma's birthday, or so Facebook tells me. So happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Can we talk about the screams?
Well, it can't be a movie we show on the show if it isn't filled with nonstop screaming. So this is near Alucarda levels of screaming. I think Alucarda is like the top of the Drive-In Asylum scream chart. Alucarda is like a 10 or an 11. And this is a good 9.5, I think. I do like screaming. I can't help it.
Said some quality.
Yeah, the
ones.
end of it, especially the end, it kind of has the Halloween walkway where you see the shots of the building as you go out of it, and the countryside, and her just screaming over the scenery. Man, I don't know if these kids are going to make it work after this. He's like laying there hacking the dude to bits, begging for them. Why did you take him from me? She's got ice pick wounds in her back, screaming. He wouldn't confess the witchcraft, no matter what. Yeah, a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, she's gonna be like, you took your time confessing.
Yeah. If you loved me, you would have confessed sooner. And he's like, we would have both died. I didn't know my boys were coming. Who knew? I didn't know they were coming. One of them got stabbed with a knife. The same.
Oh, he was the good one, right? He was the friend.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then he gets then he gets yelled at when he shoots the other guy in the face.
Yeah.
Like, no thanks.
If Becca just asked me if Bill was accused of witchcraft, would I save him? Yes. Yes, I would.
Oh, thank you.
I would. Yeah.
Meanwhile, I'd be in the audience like,
yeah, just watching.
Uncle Spooky.
So like, I will not.
My mouth shut. I don't want to bring any attention my way.
When I'm resurrected, I'm going to come right for you.
Yeah.
What color?
You're like, I wonder if Bill will float.
He won't. Bill will not float. Trust me.
I love the rules of the witch finder. He's like, if you pass out from pain by me putting a burning thing into your back, or if you cry out, you have accepted Satan. What are you supposed to do? Just grin and bear it?
30 whacks for sure. He wanted to give him 30 more, but they shot him, which was really frustrating.
Yeah. Why did you take it
He
from
was just
me?
getting started. Like, there's a lot of. Vincent Price, one of mine too.
My Vincent Price shirt.
Yeah.
I borrowed this from Mark for the show tonight.
Very nice.
The man himself. Oh,
Does it glow in the
he
dark?
opened his eyes just now. Did you see that?
Yeah.
That's because I'm nice and fat.
Aw.
So,
Does he glow in the dark?
yeah, I think so. I don't know. I've never actually tried. We should see if it works. I don't know if I could turn off every light in here from my chair. This was one of those infuriating movies because I guess, this is it's not literal history, but I mean things like this actually happen. People really did this stuff.
Yeah. And, people took advantage of the hysteria against witches. Obviously, the most important thing to Hopkins in the one point was getting that gold and silver. And he's like, we can leave now whenever he had the money, from the first tortures they did in the beginning. And, obviously he kind of took, whether it was taking advantage of a young girl or getting money or, those guys pretty much running the town and taking over the bar. They got everything they could.
Something about loving what you do for a living, though.
Yeah. I mean, you can't say that he didn't care. If you find something you love, like torturing people for God, I mean,
yeah, he was good at it. I mean,
yeah,
this is
it was
what
never
he was.
work for him.
That other guy too. He was.
Yeah.
I felt like he was I felt like in a different kind of movie, he would have been the hero. The way he kind of survived all that stuff. Like got out of the, knocked those two guys out. Took a bullet out of his arm. That was a lot. Spent a lot of time with him.
Yeah, he had that bowl haircut.
They all had those terrible hairs.
Their hairs were terrible. Yeah, I have to agree.
The bowls were bigger back then, so the bowl cuts were a bit.
You
Yeah,
get the little curl at the bottom, which was a few of them were working that.
yeah, little wisps, little page boy. Yeah,
Tricky.
little Dutch boy.
Dutch boy, that's what I was reaching for.
Yeah. But yeah, the witch finders, I would assume, had a lot of power. So I guess there isn't a lot of call for a witch finder these days. I think you probably wouldn't get away with it.
Bill said something funny now. He's like, "Oh yeah, they don't do that online now."
Yeah.
Yeah, we burn witches on social media now.
Yeah.
Cancel culture,
Get her.
I think it's just, it's the same kind of aggression. Anyway.
1000%.
My favorite social media thing that happened this week was everybody upset about the Pink Floyd 50 logo.
Oh my
Oh,
God, that
that's
is
funny.
so brilliant.
Yeah,
Did you hear about that, Uncle Spooky?
Yes, I did. That was pretty genius.
yeah. It's like they've had that logo.
Like they just pulled a rainbow out of their
The wall
ass.
came out. Yeah, this is part of their. And it's supposed to be their light show. Like that's the whole point of it, and like what their light show looked like. Whatever.
Oh.
You know what? You know what doesn't come off on that though? I don't think sarcasm kind of plays, because somebody could be right something really sarcastic, but then everybody else takes it super serious,
Yeah.
and it's like,
Yeah. You're absolutely right.
and then somebody else comes out of the woodwork to agree with that sarcasm, and then it's like downhill.
Yeah,
Or
It's
taken out
just
of context.
bogus outrage.
yeah.
Yeah.
It was just funny when I saw it, and I was like, God, someone's gonna be upset about this and show how little they know of the band, and it made me. And of course, that's exactly what happened.
No, I didn't think it was a great logo. I mean,
No.
like the 50. I mean, they could have done something a little better. I mean, I wasn't angry at it, but
Those guys barely talk though. I'm sure the agreement session of logos is like, I don't want to fucking talk to them. They're just all angry old men now.
50. Yeah, 50.
Yeah,
50s.
it's a big number to get your head around. Trust me, I had to do it this year. It's not fun. I look
Did you
forward
turn
to-
50? I thought you were 49.
No, I was 50. Man, I wish I was 49. I turned 50 this year.
Woo!
Yeah.
Welcome to the
In
50s.
the club.
Yeah.
With the club. It only gets better.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You
I
turn-
think it gets better ends when you're 18 in high school. It doesn't get better after
It
that.
gets a little worse.
It gets a lot
It
worse.
gets a
Yeah.
little worse.
Yeah.
You turn bluer and bluer.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Oh well. 51 will be what will get worse is as things that I love, like when Halloween has the 50th anniversary in a couple years. I'd be like, motherfucker, then I'll be like, oh, the Empire, Star Wars 50th anniversary. Oh, cool. And then it'll just gradually happen. Then it'll be like, hey, without warning, no one will care about the 50th anniversary without warning. But anyway, speaking of, I watched the Beyond the Dark or whatever, Into the Darkness, whatever. They have those like talking head documentaries that are on Shudder.
Oh, yeah.
The third one's coming out this week. I got to see it a little bit early. And now that they've run out of movies, the third one is everything we love. The Children is one of the first movies discussed in it. And I was like, oh, man. And Boogeyman. And it made me realize how much I love Boogeyman. Like there was seeing it in that cut down version with like the lights coming out of the eyes and the mirror crashing. Why is the mom in bed with the dude with the stocking on his head? What a fucking movie. Anyway, that's an aside, but I really, it really made my heart happy seeing it. And then someone right after defended Boogeyman 2, which made me happy. They're like, it's kind of meta. Like it's kind of the same movie too, but however you want to sell it. Yeah.
And Without Warning's on it too.
Yeah, Without Warning was on it too, and I was really happy because someone called out that it's Predator a lot.
Have you ever seen it?
Yeah, it's great.
I've never seen it.
It's
and
one
I've
of the
always,
scariest aliens I think in any movie. It's a great.
I agree. That scared me. Like the
Without
commercial.
Warning?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Just a
the
little
same.
flappy thing with the teeth.
Yeah.
That's the same actor that's in Predator.
Yeah,
That's
Kevin
in
Peter
that
Hall.
costume.
Is that right?
Also
Yeah.
from Pittsburgh.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
He was like a super tall dude, and he played the monster in the alien Without Warning, and he played the alien in the original Predator.
And he's in Harry.
Almost
Harry
ended John Van Claw's career.
Harry and the Hendersons too. Yeah, and Misfits of Science. He did a ton of stuff.
Sadly, he passed away at a pretty young age.
Yeah. But I would say of the movie, we only watched 1980 to 81, and I was like, holy shit, they got in like a lot of Bill and Sam movies in this, and I think again, they probably got all the the 80 movies that everybody else likes. For me, these are like, oh, The Children, yeah, Without Warning, yeah, these are mine. So Prom Night was on it too, which is fine,
Didn't you do The Children on your show, Uncle Spooky?
I have not.
Oh,
That was another one I loved as a kid. How's that one aged? It's pretty good, right?
Oh, it's even better now.
I know someone that loves it. He's sitting to the right of us.
It's fucking amazing, and it gets better and better every time I see it. Vinegar Syndrome did that tremendous restoration,
Yeah.
and they just, they have interviews with the director. You'll never need another. Well, I shouldn't say that because there's always something better that could come out. But The Children is just fucking amazing. They found scenes that were cut from the original film. I mean, the original theatrical release. Nothing crucial, just a few different alternate takes or like scenes that ran on a little longer. There is some missing material that they were not able to include that included a little bit more of the characters. But for what it's worth, The Children is just, there's so many layers of that movie. I could go on and on, but it's just an indictment, a scathing indictment of parenthood. I love it.
I was excited it got picked for it because I was like, that's a movie I want more people to watch and be like, I'm going to watch it. So,
The commercials are really good.
yeah. Yeah.
Don't need that.
You did curtains on your show, Uncle Spooky. How do you like curtains?
I loved curtains. Curtains. It's a little damaged because it feels like it went through the washing machine. And it's like 3 different movies.
Yeah.
But and that last scene or that last chase scene where it's just out of nowhere and it's like she just runs into this totally different set, which was amazing. But I loved it. And the ice skating scene, it's like one of my favorite winter murder scenes, I'll say.
Yeah, I really like it because it's just kind of once you sew it together, you know what I mean? Like you got to patch some of it together in your head, but it works. That's awesome.
What'd you write? I love The Children. I helped out with the location featurette.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. Oh,
a lot of extras on that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's a nice deluxe package.
Excuse me.
I love those deluxe packages. Luxurious packages. Luxuriously apportioned.
What'd you say?
Luxuriously apportioned. Go ahead.
Oh no, I'm really excited for next week's movies too. By the way, I forgot how weird The Suckling is until I saw it. I forgot it's got something. And
great. Never heard of it.
Yeah, it's the only aborted fetus coming back to get people climbing up a toilet. Yeah, it's got a lot in it.
Wow.
It gets weird. And I love The Oracle. As you can guess, it's nearly an Italian movie made in America with its sheer level of not make sense-ness. The reason that Hands in it, Hasbro wouldn't give them the rights to Ouija, and it's better than any of the Ouija movies. It's so gloriously fucking dumb. I have nothing bad to say about any movies that Roberta Findlay did. I love all her like late period New York satanic movies like Lurkers and and Tenement is also great. A movie that she claims is based on her childhood, which is frightening if you've ever seen it. Like it's a horrifying. It's like a Death Wish 3 level assault on an apartment complex. But yeah, I'm super excited about all the movies next week.
Great font on the titles.
Yeah.
On what titles?
The titles for Oracle.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The blue hand in it is really creepy. That's the fortune telling device, and it like writes stuff by itself. And everybody that uses it gets kind of like cursed by it in different ways. And it's pretty wild.
Oracle. What years were those?
I want to say the Oracle is 88.
Yeah, that's like 87 or 88.
Yeah. It's that amorphous, like somewhere in the late 80s kind of thing. And I think the Suckling's a little earlier.
I think the Suckling was 90, wasn't it?
Oh, was it? I've always thought it was earlier. Maybe just because it looks so scuzzy. It looks, it came out beat up. You
This
know,
is going to be the first time I've seen either of those movies.
I'm so excited
Wow.
about this. Like, I'm
I've-
The Oracle is a movie that I'm excited to watch with you because when I watched it, I was like, Bill's gonna love this movie. It's very, I don't know. There's just something about a fortune telling occult movie. Yeah, I agree with Dustin. The Oracle feels way older than it is. If you told me it came out in '78, also spoiler
It's
for anybody
85, by the way. I looked it up. It's 85.
it also has an actress who wears. She had to bring her own clothes, Samantha Egger style, to this movie, Bill, because when you see her clothes, there's a lot of high collars. There's a lot of like doily kind of fabric. She really dresses like she's from like the 1800s a couple times in this movie. A lot of hats, a lot of like weird sweaters, angular stuff. It's really great. Um, it's almost like the 80s, but yeah, like it's the 80s, and you're like 1885. Yeah, maybe that's where her outfits are from. And yeah, I love Roberta's movies. I think they're cheap, but they don't necessarily always look cheap, but they feel cheap in a good way. They're very entertaining. She always talks shit on them. If you ever hear her commentaries, she's like, "All these movies suck," and I'm like, "No, they don't. I really like them. I think you did something kind of interesting in them." So, but hey, you know me, I love bad shit. So, take that with a grain of salt, I guess.
That's what we do here.
Yeah,
Celebrate.
celebrate them. But yeah, I'm excited. Hey, Bill, you want to see what came in the mail this week?
Uh-huh.
Right.
We're dying.
This is from Kino Lorber, Truffaut's The Bride Wore Black, which it's a movie about a woman whose husband gets killed on the altar on their wedding day, and she makes a list of all the people she wants to kill. And Quentin Tarantino never saw it, but maybe you did when it was called Kill Bill. But anyway, it's a Truffaut movie. I'm really excited about it. Up next, I saw Ultraman in the theater last week. Ultraman X is another Ultraman series. Ultraman Max, and that's from Mill Creek. I'm super excited about this one, Bill, from Mill Creek. It's a 4-pack of Peter Falk movies. How can you go wrong?
Wait, which ones are they? Oh, okay.
Cheap Detective, Big Trouble, Happy New Year, and Love.
I don't think I've seen any of those.
Yeah, me either. So I'm excited about that. This is a movie called London, which is also from Mill Creek. I have not seen, with Chris Evans and Jessica Biel and Jason Statham. So how about that? Never seen that.
London.
This is a new Troma movie, which I'll try to be nice about, but Divide and Conquer, and this is from MVD.
It's interesting seeing this conflict that's going on right now in your brain.
Yeah, I know. And Bill, this is the movie I'm excited for you to see.
Okay.
It's Blitzed, the 80s Blitz kid story.
Oh, wow. That's totally not what I was thinking of.
Oh, what were you thinking of?
I didn't know. I wasn't sure. Like,
But this says, I'll read you the back. Boy George was the coat check girl. Admittedly stealing money from Clogover's belongings, Bowie, Synthbeats, and a new freedom were in the air. The Blitz Club spell was cast on a hot blood of talent emerged, featuring Culture Club, Sade, Ultravox, Visage, and Spandau Ballet, and everyone still alive from the era. So, pretty exciting.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing because coincidentally, oh, wow. There they are.
Yeah. So, I'll be saying this will be in the bill pile.
What is that? A movie about a nightclub?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. And they all went?
Yeah. The Blitz Club. So, it's pretty cool. MVD also sent that.
Blitz was a place in London, or I don't know if it was actually in London. I think it was London. And a bunch of people who later went on to be pop stars hung out there, like Boy George. It was where a lot of punks hung out there, like when punk was a gay thing, like when it started. And it was like people, like punks hung out there, and New Romantics, when it turned into New Romantics, disco, Bowie went there, glam was a big thing. And there were people started like painting their faces. Steve Strange is was a Blitz kid. I've been following Marilyn. If you remember Marilyn, who was Boy George's friend from the 80s, and he kind of had his own brief career as a pop star. And then I don't know what happened to Marilyn. Like there was a heroin thing, like when Boy
Yeah.
George was doing heroin. I don't know if Marilyn was part of it or not, but
Was he friends with the guy from Dead or Alive? Were they like
no.
pals?
Pete Burns hated Boy George back then because Boy George sort of emulated Pete Burns' look. Like Pete would go out with those dreadlocks and floppy hats and everything, and then Boy George had some early success with Culture Club, and he was photographed wearing that same stuff. And Pete Burns got really pissed about it and was like, "You ripped me off, you cunt." But
He's wearing that in the video.
they made up years later, and they admitted that they loved each other.
I like Visage a lot. Fade to Gray is a really good song. So
Visage, oh god, yeah, just fucking amazing.
yeah.
The first album, I think the first album was the only one that Midge Ure was on in Visage.
Yeah.
But he performed Fade to Gray when I saw him live.
Oh man, when that American Crime Story they did on Versace had a lot of music of that era, and that song. That's where I really got into that song from hearing it, and that. And Vienna was in it too, so there's some good stuff. So I'm excited, Bill. I'll save that one's gonna get saved for you. So as soon as I opened it up, Becca was like, "Bill's gonna love this one." She just give it to him. That'll be interesting.
He loans me stuff, Uncle Spooky, and then I never give it back.
Oh, I know that guy. What's the name of that one? I want to look it up.
It's called Blitzed.
Blitzed.
Yeah, I'll have it up on the site probably in the next couple days once I watch it. It's on. If you go to mvdshop.com, they have it for. You can purchase it there. Good place to find it. So, and the nice thing is the case feels strong. Like it's a strong case. Unlike a lot of modern ones that aren't. So.
Yeah, Marilyn's YouTube page is what I was leading up to there, but I kind of like got derailed. It was I derailed myself because it's the third segment. But yeah, he goes online and makes these videos, and they're just these long, rambling, vague book posting. But like, imagine a vague book post stretched out to about 40 minutes of rambling, and he's sitting in bed, and there's like this glittery backdrop behind him, and he has a fan blowing on his face, and he's like, "Oh, I was just getting ready for bed. I'm sitting here in my pajamas." And then he pulls out his makeup and starts putting on makeup on camera. I'm like, "You said you were going to bed." And he'll just like talk and talk and talk, and you don't know who he's talking about or what he's talking about. It's amazing. Mr. Marilyn, I think, is his YouTube channel. Go check it out.
He's still alive. He was an early one with got a lot of work done on his face.
I don't think so. Well,
I know we're talking.
He did. I mean, he had some mental health issues, and he was public about it. Probably like in the 90s, I think he didn't look too good. I think he looks great now. He looks older, but I think he's in his 60s now, and he survived. A lot of those people are gone that were part of that scene, and somehow he's still out there kicking. So good for him.
God bless. God bless.
And he dated Gavin from Bush.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Gavin's not gay, but he dated Marilyn.
Allegedly.
So, anyway, what's coming up for Uncle Spooky?
Oh, he's got tomorrow night in Ridgewood, Queens. Faster Pussycat Kill Kill. And then he thinks he might be bringing back his Monday night thing. Monday or Tuesday, once a week. Maybe I'll try. I don't know. I'm easing back into it, see how it feels. Thanks for coming to the first one. You were great. What did we show? Hitting the Pendulum. It was pretty good.
It was fun. It was a lot of fun watching that. I hadn't seen it in a long time.
Yeah, me too. It holds up. And Vincent's great in that too.
Mm-hmm.
There's like 3 different characters. So I might do that. And that was kind of fun with Tubi because you get a nice commercial break. We could all talk for like 2 seconds. Catch up. That's kind of fun. I like the group watches.
Yeah, if you've never done Uncle Spooky show, you really should. It's a Zoom meeting and everybody's on camera, which is kind of like
Your
it was a little
choice.
intimidating the first time I did it. I was like, "Ooh," I feel like it's like walking into a room where everyone can see you, and it was. But everyone there was super cool, and there's a lot of no attitude. It's just a lot of fun. Check it out.
Yeah, they're all fun. It's a good group, and they all got fun little rooms going on in the background. And they all someone dress up, and they're all from all over. I love that. You got these guys from all over the place too. Your crowd.
Yeah. Graham's in the UK. I don't know if he's still watching. There's a couple other people that I mentioned that I spotted in the chat. I think that are tuning in from the UK, and a lot of these folks are regulars. They're here every week. Like Tracy and Matt and Darren is always here. Vince, Paul, Mike Justice. Now I'm doing the romper room thing again, so I'm going to stop.
Yeah, if you forget somebody, you're screwed.
I know. Plus, it sounds silly. But yeah, we have a great group here. It's why we keep doing this show.
Yeah.
Good.
Are we winding down now, or is there something else? It's all.
No, I feel like I'm not offering enough.
No. Still on the.
Yeah, I'll be doing some more. Huh?
Yeah. When's your next live watch?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow?
The live. I was gonna do it Monday, but after 2 days of this, I think I'm gonna need a break. So maybe next Monday.
Okay.
I think I'll do it next Monday.
Awesome.
I don't know what I'm playing yet. I usually don't know till like what grabs me.
Yeah.
Kind of fun. You must do the same thing. How hard is it for you guys to decide on a movie? Do you ever sweat about it?
No. We usually text back and forth and goes like, "What goes with this?" I give them a couple suggestions, and then there's other times where like, we definitely want to show this because it showed up on Tubi, and we're like, we got to show it before they take it down.
It's easy because usually whatever Sam suggests, it's something that if I haven't seen it, I want to, or if I have seen it, I love it. So we really don't. We don't have to mention too many movies before we decide.
Yeah. Generally, I can't think of something. If I throw a Paul Naschy movie out, it's going to get shown. So that's
right.
And the other way, it feels like if he's like, well, I guess maybe something Italian and like, and then that's how it works.
Yeah, he does that to me all the time. Like he'll send me 3 titles, and he'll send me like 2 where like I really don't know what they are or whether we should show them, and then he'll throw out a really juicy one, and he knows I'm going to go for that really juicy one.
Yeah, exactly.
Of course.
I'm like, yeah, and you're like, yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's not really that hard. We get on we're pretty much on a wavelength for movies most of the time, and we kind of know it. And we get a lot of great suggestions from people. We picked up some suggestions from the chat. And then like Troll 2 last week was a Becca suggestion. She wanted to see it again really bad. So that one worked out. And, it just kind of depends. And a lot of times guests will pick one, and then we'll try to find something that matches what the guest likes.
The guests.
Yeah, John McDevitt picked The Suckling for next week. That was one of the ones that he wanted to do. And then Sam and I talked about a couple different things, and we chose the Oracle.
Yeah.
So what does he do? He does something in Chicago?
Yeah, it's a museum called Facets, and they have a theater there. They screen films, and he curates different series there. He did one around Christmas that one of the nights he did was Killer Santa movies. He showed a double feature of Silent Night, Deadly Night. And the second movie was Dial Code Santa Claus, the movie that's sort of like Home Alone, except it's nastier than Home Alone.
Really? I never heard that one either.
It came out before Home Alone too, and the director is convinced that Home Alone.
It's like a little kid versus an evil Santa.
Yeah.
Yeah, literally, and it's a lot of fun, and I did some video introductions for that one. I did some ad galleries, and they projected them before each of the movies at Facets. So he just happened to be coming to Pittsburgh next weekend, and he messaged me, and I was like, "Why don't you come do this show, like from here?"
Perfect.
So
Yeah,
stunningly, he said yes, so he'll be here.
that's gonna be awesome.
I'm gonna go to Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh, put it on the list.
Yes, please come here and sit on the
Yeah.
couch opposite me.
Well, the couch treatment.
So I think is that everything, or is there something else, Sam, that you
I
wanted
was just
to
gonna
mention?
say this week on the site, if you're into the shot on video stuff that's been on the site, stay tuned. There's a whole other week of it coming up with lots of crazy shit. Nick Millard's Cemetery Sisters. I couldn't pass up doing a couple Nick Millard shot on video movies, and Scream Dream, which I really, really liked. Soul of the Demon, which I really liked. Las Vegas Bloodbath, which I did not like. But if it's got demons in it and it's shot on video, there's a 100% chance I probably watched it. A really wild one, Gargoyle Girls, and I told Bill about it. Shatter Dead, which if you haven't seen is mid 90s, and it is very Messiah of Evil paced, which is pretty good. I just put a movie up called Limbo, which is on the site at 8 tonight, and that's on Tubi, and I really recommend people check it out because it's real fucking weird.
Limbo.
And I've been really into kind of learning this week of how democratic the world of shot on video is. It was like an opportunity for people that had no budget to make something, or people with a budget that didn't want to spend a ton of money on film to make something, or to practice. It's their first movie. There's a lot of people, like Todd Sheets that is still making movies that started in video, or the Polonia brothers, but started in video. So it's pretty exciting. And I put up Ghost Watch today, Bill. Have you ever seen that? The British one?
Ghost Watch. No, I don't think so.
It's a British BBC special. It only aired once in England because there were threats of lawsuits, but it looks like a real TV show. There was like a series of like watch shows, like Hospital Watch, Airport Watch, and they would like embed themselves in a place and film it. Well, they did it's a haunted house, and it's supposed to be the most haunted place in England. It's all real BBC presenters. It's all real BBC hosts. So almost, even though there's numerous times in the show they break in and say it's not real, it kind of started like a War of the Worlds thing. One person did kill themselves after watching it because they were so upset by it. And a couple people got PTSD from it. The documentary, 101 Films just put it out. I think it's on Tubi too. But it's really good. And it's shot on video because it has to be, because it looks like a BBC program, and it's shot in a real BBC studio. It has the real graphics. So if you missed the opening, you might be thinking you're watching this. Actually, the craziest thing is the main host of it, his mother was in her 90s, and she tuned in halfway through and thought her son was attacked by ghosts and being possessed at the end of it, and called the BBC to ask if her son was still alive. He called her the next morning because he thought she was sleeping. And he was like, "Why would you call my work and ask that?" The girl who's in it actually had to go on a children's program the next day and tell all the kids that watched it that she was all right. But it's pretty intense. BBC was really unsure of showing it, and it's really wild. It's kind of, if you saw the WNFU Halloween special that came out here, it's based on it. It's like the same idea, but this is very British and very serious, and nobody's joking through it. It's like there's no moments where oh, maybe this is fake, and it's like they did a pretty good job of. They actually took real calls from people during the show too, which is wild. So people that wanted to talk about being haunted, and even when you called the phone line, they're like, "This is not a real show," and people were like, "Yeah, but what's going on with this?" And people just blew past the warnings, but it's real good. So, yeah.
What's that one called?
Ghost Watch.
Ghost Watch.
It's streaming a couple places. Yeah, definitely worth checking out. The other crazy movie I discovered this week is Somewhere in Michigan, which was made in 1982, I want to say. And it's 16 minutes long, but the director of it dated the Unicorn Killer, the guy who invented Earth Day and killed his girlfriend and left her in a trunk. And that was her boyfriend all through college. So she made shot on video movies that explained how she felt about the trauma in her life. So this is like a slasher set in a Cleveland mall, and it's a musical. And Bill, you're gonna love it. It's like a synth musical with slashers, and two lesbian lovers that come up against a man that wants to chop their arms and legs off. It's really good and funded by the government. The 700 Club had a hissy fit. That's the first time I saw it was an episode of the 700 Club where they talked about why would this movie be made.
Oh wow, yeah.
But
They did a lot of that. There was that notorious Jesus movie that everybody used to talk about. Do you remember that?
Yeah, the Italian one, something one about Mary, where it's like a modern version of the Virgin Mary. That one.
Well, no, this was a porn movie about
Oh.
Jesus, and it was called Him.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And it was. I mean, they kept telling the way that the churches would tell you, like the rumors that the church would say that it was a pornographic film made about Christ. It was an R-rated movie about Jesus, and blah blah blah. Really, I think that the movie Him was a semi-pornographic film, or it might have even been hardcore. I'm not sure, but it was about somebody who was obsessed with Christ in a sexual way. So in a way, it was even more scandalous than what the churches would say the movie was really
funny
about.
Because in the same way, I always talk about how I would read the Pittsburgh Catholic as a kid to find out what movies were morally objectionable to go see. All these shows do the same thing. Like I'd be like, yeah, okay, cool. I'm taking notes on this, and I'll track it down. But yeah, I definitely recommend this movie. It got a second life a couple years ago because it got shared as like a TikTok video and was supposed to be a cursed video. That's how strange some of the footage is in it. It's real weird. Anyway, thanks for letting me gab about it.
All right. So
I got some tips. Thanks for having me. This was so much fun.
I'm glad you stuck with us the whole time too. That was awesome.
Yeah. How about that?
Yeah.
I ate a lot of sugar.
Yeah.
I'm flying.
I had a little sugar too. So I'm glad we all made it to the end of the program. And thanks to all of you who hung with us tonight. It was great to see you. Thanks for being here. And we hope you'll come back next weekend when our special guest will be John McDevitt from Facets in Chicago.
Suckling.
Safe, be well. See you back here next week.
Under 17 not admitted without parents or guardian. Under 17 not admitted without parents or guardian.